We have some drama unfolding in the Middle East to report to you tonight. Diplomats in Kuwait are now saying that Iraqi troops have crossed the border into Kuwait.
Why did the U.S. assist Kuwait in the Gulf War? Virtually everyone agreed that the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait must be stopped. Yet the reasons that triggered the U.S. intervention were drastically different. Many argue that the oil is the main trigger to the U.S. intervention. The first President Bush campaigned the intervention by claiming the need to protect oil from falling into the wrong hands.
Our jobs, our way of life, our own freedom, and the freedom of friendly countries around the world would all suffer if control of the world's great oil reserves fell into the hands of that one man, Saddam Hussein.
Kuwait held 10% of world oil. Together with the Iraqi's oil field that Saddam already owned, he had control over a fifth of the world's oil reserve. If Saddam was able to pass through the borders into Saudi, he would own over half of the world's oil reserves.
The Americans want to protect their oil supplies.
February 14, 1945. The United States will provide the royal family with protection in return for an exclusive American right to develop Saudi Arabian oil. This ongoing relationship grew beyond the trade of oil and protection. U.S. containment in the Middle East was facilitated through Saudi Arabia. The U.S. felt committed to protect Saudi for its greater national self-interest.
Our relations with Saudi Arabia have been long, close, and cordial. As the venerable Arab saying has it, our house is your house.
We have sent forces to defend Saudi Arabia. The integrity of Saudi Arabia, its freedom, are very, very important to the United States. This will not stand. This will not stand, this aggression against Kuwait.
Colin Powell, who had been watching Bush's remarks live on CNN at home in his study, asked himself, had the president just committed the United States to liberating Kuwait? Within 3 months, it would be very clear that the answer to that question was a resounding yes.
This conflict started August 2nd when the dictator of Iraq invaded a small and helpless neighbor. Kuwait, a member of the Arab League and a member of the United Nations, was crushed, its people brutalized. 5 months ago, Saddam Hussein started this cruel war against Kuwait. Tonight, the battle has been joined. Saddam Hussein systematically raped, pillaged, and plundered a tiny nation.
Cheney compared Saddam to Hitler. The U.S. feared that if Iraq invades the Gulf, Saddam would have great blackmail power if the Western world does not follow his bidding. Fear that Saddam is capable of having a close gnaw on the Middle East, as well as the chance that Saddam is likely to invite Soviet intervention in the Gulf.
And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Hitler revisited, a totalitarianism and a brutality that is naked and unprecedented.
General Norman Schwarzkopf claims that it should be seen as an international operation to liberate Kuwait and weaken the Iraqi army, as not to make trouble in the area again. Saddam's invasion of Kuwait threatened the stability of the emerging post-Cold War order. Council Secretary Resolution 678, 1990. This UN resolution has changed towards the coalition function not only to defend Saudi, but also to attack Iraq if they do not leave Kuwait. as they agreed it was a threatening danger to the New World Order.
It is about our own national security interests and ensuring the peace and stability of the entire world.
American satellite images showed the Iraqi military units in Kuwait heading towards the Saudi borders. The security of the kingdom has become directly threatened. The US presented these images to Prince Bandar, the Saudi ambassador in the US, who was very shocked. Prince Bandar was keen to present the satellite images to King Fahd personally. On the 6th of August, the king, along with his entourage, received Dick Cheney, Secretary of Defense, and General Schwarzkopf in Jeddah. After hearing what Cheney had to say and seeing the US satellite images, King Fahd said, "The most important thing is to proceed to protect our country together with the Americans." Saudi Arabia feared that the House of Saud will be next on Saddam's list. Arab states feared that the promises by Iraq for a peaceful solution have been broken, hence the trust shattered. Kuwait, UAE, and other sheikdoms were quick to follow the Saudi lead, as well as Syria reminding Arab states that those who occupied Kuwait were responsible for the foreign presence. According to the Arab League Pact, resolutions are binding only if they are voted unanimously. It was difficult to obtain unanimity. The rule was modified. Ever since the United Nations Security Council had passed its first mandatory resolution, Resolution 660 of 1990, condemning Iraq's invasion and demanding an immediate and unconditional withdrawal, Arab leaders have failed to agree on a face-saving formula which would not be humiliating, as Saddam had shown readiness to withdraw. The Arab leaders, however, failed to agree on what the face-saving formula would be. When the Arab League finally met in full session to deal with the crisis on August 9 to 10, 1990, Western intervention had already encouraged several Arab leaders sympathetic with Kuwait to insist on Iraq's withdrawal, immediately and unconditionally, although several other Arab leaders held that a face-saving promise would have encouraged Iraq to withdraw. Moreover, the increasing number of Security Council resolutions was overwhelming, which rendered the chances of Arab mediation to achieve peaceful settlement to become almost nil.
Not a single member on either side of the House tonight has drawn attention to what the former Attorney General of the United States, Ramsey Clark, said on the radio last night. He said, "We forced Saudi Arabia to accept our army there because we wanted to protect our oil."
Western intervention, first through diplomatic pressure and later by resort to force, was so quick and overwhelming that it virtually gave Arab leaders no chance to resolve the crisis by peaceful means. King Hussein and President Mubarak requested President Bush in a telephone conversation to give them enough time to resolve the crisis. Egypt and Syria, along with many other Arab states, sent their troops to join the coalition army in Saudi Arabia for multiple reasons.
What do we have here? Holy crow. Let's see what they are. Man, this is something. Here we go. Closer, closer. And 2,253 hours. They've crossed the border in Saudi Arabia. King Fahd's gonna be pissed. Fahd baby's gonna be pissed. He's gonna be hot.
To write a song about the war in the Gulf, but we should